Joining us now is Democratic Congressman from Connecticut and ranking member of the Intelligence Committee, Jim Himes. Congressman, it's good to have you. I want to ask you about the international reaction to what we're seeing happening in Washington, D.C. But first, I just want to get your thoughts on whether there is a leader of the Republican Party that the Democrats will be able to work with going forward.
Well, Katie, I certainly hope so. Nothing works under Republican majorities until the Democrats step in. This was true on the debt ceiling rescue when the country was almost going to go into default. It was true a mere week ago, less than a week ago, when the entire Democratic caucus, save one, voted for the continuing resolution that kept the government open. So whoever it is, if they choose to govern exclusively trying to corral their very, very slim majority, they're not going to be successful in doing that.
You know, I was asking this yesterday. Do you ever see there being a scenario where there is a unity leader, somebody that can cross both aisles and can really work with the center of both parties to get things done? Right now, there's so much partisanship. It's either I'm with you or I'm against you, and there's very little middle ground. It would be a welcome sign for Americans to see somebody that wasn't so identified with either one of the parties coming in and leading to get work done.
Well, Katie, I've been on your show dozens of times, and so you know that I am often the last to go to a partisan argument. But let me say this. This is not a democracy problem. I was listening to the show for the last 5 minutes, and oh my goodness, democracy is in trouble in the United States. No, this is not a democracy problem. This is not a problem that is symmetric between the Republican conference and the Democratic caucus. A mere 10 months ago, when Nancy Pelosi was Speaker of the House, with precisely the same size majority that Kevin had, we passed bipartisan bill after bipartisan bill. Largest investment in infrastructure since the 1950s. We passed a bill that supported our veterans who've been exposed to the CHIPS Act. I could go on and on and on. So when Democrats controlled the House chamber, nobody was saying you have a massive problem with democracy. You have a problem with the Republican Party. And by the way, it's the right international, right? In Israel, it's not the Labor Party that is, rending that country in two. It's a right-wing nationalist party led by Netanyahu. In Great Britain, it wasn't the Labor Party that brought us, Boris Johnson and Liz Truss, right? This is not a democracy problem. This is the fact that the right wing around the world, and certainly in the Republican Party, has gotten to the point where they say you cannot work with Democrats or you are a traitor. 10 months ago, we were working with Republicans.
Let me ask you this, though. I mean, I understand it's not an all-encompassing democracy problem, but democracy is what is allowing a lot of these problems to persist in the Republican Party, the way that democracy has allowed gerrymandering. It's been upheld by the Supreme Court to make districts extreme and protect those extreme elements. And they go to Congress. And then democracy is what gave Republicans the majority. So democracy is at issue here. It's not functioning on one side, and that one side is the side in power. Do you not hear that as a member of the Intelligence Committee from our allies around the world, the concern about what our institutions are able to withstand?
I hear it all the time. I hear it all the time. And I don't need to hear it to know that this sort of tableau is exactly what Vladimir Putin and exactly what Premier Xi in China want. But again, it's really important that we understand that this is not a fundamental problem with democracy. That, by the way, is precisely Vladimir Putin's case. And that's not what we're talking about here. And it's important to realize that. We don't have time to go into a, government 101 thing. But why is it that the Republican Party is clinging to those things that are undemocratic in our system? The Electoral College, the fact that the state of Wyoming has exactly the same number of senators as the 40 million people in California. It's because they are increasingly gravitating to undemocratic mechanisms. Look, Matt Gaetz brought down, he's one guy with 7 friends, brought down the House of Representatives. There's nothing democratic about that. And it's just really important that we be clear that this is not a democracy problem. This is a fire-breathing right-wing problem, not just in the United States, but around the world.